Greetings and welcome to PinballHelp. Mike here. Today I am working on this Gottlieb target pool 1969 wedge head electromechanical machine, and I want to share with you an interesting technique and approach to problem solving on these electromechanical games. So let me show you what the game is doing, and let's just start a quick little game. Alright. So we got the game going now. The way this game works is you're supposed to knock down all of the balls 1 through 15, the targets 1 through 15. I'm going to talk about how this game plays like you would think. It plays all over the place and does everything it's supposed to, except there's one feature that doesn't work. Now, if you don't know the rule set intimately, you may not realize that there's something that doesn't work in this game. This is an example of a deep dive where you can buy a machine, the guy says it works, and it flips and the lights work and it scores and all that, but there's another feature that is not working that won't be obvious unless you're paying attention. And that is, in this case, it's one of the special features. So you see we have these special lights that are lit up. And we can play the game and it'll work, it'll score, and all the lights and everything are working fine. And so for all intents and purposes, the game is working. Now, most people, when they're messing with these games, the flippers work, the lights work, it scores, it restarts, it steps through the balls, game's working perfectly. Not always. Every game has certain special rule set features. Like in this game, it has this light that moves around, that if you hit this target, it's 300 points. So one way you want to check to make sure every feature of a game is working is that's 50 points. And every time, it switches this around. So if I hit this one, it should be 300 points. See, I got 300 points for that. There's an example of a game feature that's working the way it's supposed to. So let me tell you about the feature that is not working. So in order to light these specials on the in lanes and out lanes, you will have to knock either all the even numbered balls or the odd numbered balls. Now, the way it works is if you take out, I think, all of the odd numbered balls, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13, see, it lights special. So we can see the special is lit right there. It doesn't light this one. I thought it might, but it doesn't. What happens to light the other 3 specials is you have to knock all of them down, the evens and the odds. So let me show you how that happens. So if we hit the even, you'll see we've done it. Now we've got, and all of the balls are lit in the back box, but the specials didn't come on. So this is an example of where there's a playfield feature that's not working. And it's a neat little aspect of the game. So how do we figure out where that's going wrong? How do we figure that out? So I'm going to show you how you can use just kind of deductive reasoning to find where the problem is in a game like this. So if you don't have the schematics, you can still do it. And in some cases, it might even be easier with the schematics if you just use a little bit of common sense. You can look at the schematics and you can see that on the schematics, all of the odd and even numbered switches have to be wired together somehow, right? So that the game can tell if all the odd ones are down and all the even ones. So let's talk about how the game logic translates into the actual relays in the bottom of the machine. So I'm going to turn the game off. I'm going to put the ball down here, and we're going to put the playfield up. Okay. I don't like wrenching it on this thing for very long, but it'll be good enough for the thing. So now we've got the game open. Let's take a look inside and let's talk about what's going on in here and how you can diagnose problems. And I know people will look at this and their head will go boom, I have no idea, but it's really actually quite simple. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a game, and these things are 50 more years old, right? So they don't always have all the labels, the original labels on them, but the games have labels next to every relay in the game, and sometimes the game will tell you exactly what's going on. So let's look around, and I've done some more videos on this game before. So right here you have a bank of relays, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 relays right there, right? These are relays that are called latch relays, which means that they're tripped, and I can reach my hand underneath here and trip one of them. Let me see. Got to get it in the right spot. Where is it? So they trip and then they reset. So this resets them like that. The two coils here are the reset relays, and this far switch is the reset relay for this. The rest of these represent numbers 1 through 13 on the top of the playfield. So when a ball's hit, see it latches. Bloop, 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 bloop. So what's happening is, this is basically the game's memory. So when you knock the one ball, or the one ball target, that's this relay right here. It's a switch stack of a bunch of different switches, and there's a coil that when it's fired, it will cause that switch to trip, to latch. And so you'll notice, this one's a little hard to get to, but I'm just going to press on the little plate. Let's move over here and do one of these. We'll reset everything. Let's say this is the number 4. Okay, so reach underneath here, and I will hit the thing. Number 3. Here's number 4. And so this articulating arm moves, and it closes this switch, and it opens and closes some other switches in another stack down beneath it. So this is all the memory for the targets, 1 through 13. Where's 14 and 15? We'll get to that. So this has the first 13 balls as well as a reset relay. So whenever a target is hit, these are the ones that act, that tell the game what's going on. So if there's any logic in there relating to game rules, it's going to be wired into this bank of switches. So if we know this is target 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's actually labeled, there's a little label underneath here that says number 1, number 2, number 3, so you can see them there. So with that knowledge, we know there's got to be a wire that's probably connecting the odd and the even targets together. So let's zoom in and take a look and see if you can see where that is. So what's happening, we think, is whatever relay that tells the game, hey, all the even numbered targets have been hit, is not tripping. So that means somewhere in that series of switches, that contact is being broken. Because the way it'll work is there's a wire that runs through 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then if that whole line is closed, it flips the even number circuit, which awards the specials. So first thing we want to do is we want to kind of check. So if you look, you can see this is this outermost switch has blue or black wires off of it, and you'll notice every other switch on this stack is wired to itself, right? So the 1 is wired to the 3 is wired to the 5 is wired to the 7, and so forth. So we can tell this outermost bank of switches, and you'll see there's another set of 3 switches stacked on top of this in the middle. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, and 8 have 3 extra sets of switches on top. What's that about? Well, if you look on the game, those are the rollover switches at the top, and there's an additional game feature where if you roll over all 3 of them, it lights the center pop bumper for 100 points instead of 10. So these 3 switches are another gameplay feature that are linked in series. But we're not looking at that one. We're looking at the even and the odd things. So we see here on target number 2, there's a wire from 2 to 4 to 8, to 2, 4, 6 to 8 to 10 to 12. And so we know that's the logic right there. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check continuity. So we'll take our multimeter and we'll set it on one leg of this outer switch on the 2 target, because our problem is the even numbered feature is not enabling. So we want to find out where along this series is the even numbered switch not working. So what we'll do is we'll check continuity across this signal line. So this is number 2, this is number 4, so let's just check. And we get it. So let's go over to number 6 down here. Or you know what we can do? We can skip all the way across and go all the way to number 12. Okay? So that's number 12. So we don't have continuity. Somewhere in between there it's broken, right? It could be a bad switch, but also not all of the latches are closed. So let's close them all and see if we can get them. So 2 is open right now, but it doesn't matter because I'm latched. I've got one end of the lead onto the other one. So 3, 4, let's do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Let's see. Do I have all of them closed? No, this one's not closed. Okay, switch that one. Okay, they're all closed. So let's go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there's 12. This has only got switches 1 to 13. So we know when you knock all the even ones, the continuity is completely good from here to here. So, where else do we look? Where else do we look? All right. Now, we got to figure out where those other 2 target relays are. And we're also going to look at the feature relay that enables the specials. So that's where we look and we find there's another bank of latch relays, and they're right down here. Okay? And this is another scenario where you put my little flashlight here, and I'll be poking my head down here and I can see this is the tilt relay, this is the start relay, this is the game over relay, this is the odd sequence completed relay, this is the even sequence completed relay, and this is 15 and this is 14. So there's all of our missing things. So the last 2, 14 and 15, are here. And then you have the relay that's tripped when all the odd ones are done and the relay that's tripped when all the even ones are done. So what I did was I turned the game on, started a game, and then I pulled the thing up and I went down here and I manually tripped the even relay because I wanted to see if it was actually on the even relay. So I went down here and I reached under and I tripped that relay. I think it's been tripped already, so let me untrip it. So there's the even and there's the odd. Okay. So when I tripped that, I checked and all of the special lights went on. All of them went on. So so the relay itself, the switches on the relay were not the problem. The relay was not getting tripped. And I also checked that when I played a game and I hit all the even numbers and then I turn the game off. Since it's a latch relay, it has to be reset with this reset coil here. And so since I turned the game power off, I basically froze the state of the game, and I could pull this up and look, and I could see that the relay was not being tripped, so it's not getting tripped. So I know it's one of a couple of things. It's somewhere in that signal line telling it the evens are all there, or the coil is bad. You know, so I took the meter out and I checked the resistance on these coils and they were all good. So no indication of that's the problem. So the only thing left is 14 and 15, right? So I was going to continue my sequence thing. Let's see, let's put it back. Let's connect. We'll connect one end to the 2 target up here because I think we still have all of the Relay's tripped. Alright. So now let's find where that even lead is down on the down here on the number 14 target. And as soon as I looked down here, I immediately saw what the problem was. I immediately saw it. Let me see if I can show you guys. Let's see. Make sure I got this thing set. Okay. Let's just check to make sure we got it all the way over here. Oh, not all the relays are tripped. Okay. Alright. Let me just check that again on the black wires. We checked the continuity across everything already. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So let's just check that, make sure. Okay. I'm getting off outside of myself. There's probably a relay here that's not. Oh, there it is. Okay. See this right here? That's a little wonky. See that? So this particular relay switch I need to clean. See? But that's not really what's causing the problem, because because it'll still, all it needs to fire is one time. So let's take this and go down here to the 14. And there is the 14 relay. Oh, I just realized I didn't have the camera on the switch stack up here. There's a problem with this. This one right here is a little weak. So I get down here to the 14 and it carries all the way through. So what is the problem? Why is that feature relay not tripping? Well, the reason is, I'm gonna zoom in and see if you guys can see what I see. This is another example where just your eyeballs will tell you what the problem is. Take a look. All right. So do you see? This is the relay for 14 and 15. And do you see what the difference is? It's these two outer switch stacks that carry it over. So this switch needs to close, but that's on one end of the switch, and here's the other end of the switch. And the relay has been closed. Watch. Okay, now it's closed, but it's still not triggering. Why is that? Well, look. There's a little arm that's supposed to be on the end of this that's missing. There's actually a piece missing. Do you see that? This see this little circular thing here? This is what pushes against the switch and closes it. There's supposed to be one right there on that is gone. It must have broken off. So that has to be closed in order for this thing to work. See? Now it's working when I hold it. The switch is also really dirty, because it probably hasn't been closed in years and years and years, so it's all oxidized. So it needs to be cleaned too. But the reason it's not firing is because there's the little articulating arm piece on the end of that is missing. So there is our reason for this. This is again, I didn't need to look at the schematics. In fact, if I'd just little by little looked at each of the coils and switches and stuff, I might have even seen it. I might have said, wait, look right there. There's a switch stack that will never be closed because this thing is missing. There's supposed to be one of these right on the end of this arm right there, and it's not there. Now, I bet if I look inside this cabinet somewhere, I may find that little roller piece. It may be somewhere underneath here. It might even be in a bag with some parts that's, I don't know, but it's not there. So in order to get that feature to work, I'm going to have to fabricate some little piece that can go on the end of that little roller. You know, I don't have any of those. I have never needed to repair one of those. So I'm going to get on the horn on the email to Steve Young over at Pinball Resource, and I'm going to see if he can get me some of those. And I'll probably do a video on how to put them in, because I think they're like riveted in. I wonder if they've got some that are got little micro screws or something. Now, if I wanted to, I could fabricate apart a little rubber roller there. It doesn't even have to roll. I could just glue something onto the end, but it is a kind of a violent thing, so you want to put it on there right. So I'm going to do some research and figure out what that part number is, and get it working. So that's an interesting little adventure that I went on, just trying to identify the logic of the game and how it works. Again, you can use deductive reasoning, and in some cases it's a lot easier than looking at the schematics, because the schematics can be really, really confusing. The schematics are drawn to be super efficient and take the least amount of paper, but they don't always seem very intuitive, because you'll see like you will see a simple line running from one thing to another, but in reality that might be meandering all over the playfield in different areas. So that's where we're at right now. This 14 light, I'm going to have to work on that bulb. But other than that, I'm getting very, very close to having this almost 100% working. And there you have it, an interesting little series on, or just a short little video on how to diagnose a particular playfield rule set problem. For more, visit pinballhelp.com. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, YouTube/PinballHelp. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitter and Instagram at Mystic Crew, MystickCrewe. And until next time, thanks for watching.